Yeah, here we are, 8:35 on News Radio 94.9, 890 KDXG. It's time for the St. George Real Estate Show with Jeremy Larkin. And Jeremy grabs his headset and hurriedly rushes to the microphone. What's up, Jeremy?
I know. It's honestly, I crawled out of bed and just like stumbled across the room and grabbed a microphone. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah. By the way, today's show is shot live from my bedroom. Just kidding.
No.
Now listen, if you want to know that, you have to go to Facebook Live if you want to actually know if that's true. All right. Sound good? Good morning. Michelle Evans is with us.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, Michelle's with us. She is amazing. So I want you to know how we pitched you on Facebook Live, which still looks, we had it level and then something happened. So if you're not watching us on Facebook Live, we pitched her as real estate MVP.
Ooh.
See what I did there?
I did not see that.
You see what I did there on Super Bowl week?
Mm-hmm.
So who are you going for this week? Dallas Cowboys or Seahawks? Oh, wait. Not the right pairing?
They're in the same conference. They couldn't meet in the Super Bowl. Come on, Jeremy.
Do you love that? That's here's the thing. Do you watch the Super Bowl, Michelle? Will you turn it on?
No, sorry.
Really?
Well, I don't know. What are you sorry about?
I'm not a big football fan.
Well, my wife watches it for the commercials.
There you go.
Yeah.
Those are funny.
Yeah.
That is worth it. And the snacks.
And the snacks.
Come on.
I will watch, and I've watched exactly one football game this year. So, yeah. Well, one NFL game. That's it. Yeah. So, whatever. There you go.
What game was it? Can I ask? Because that matters.
2 weeks ago when 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago when the Chiefs came back. From
They were down
24 to 0, and then won the whole game in like 10 minutes.
It was a pretty good game.
I was in Las Vegas and happened to walk into a Yard House, traveling, and I love Yard House, by the way. Does anyone watching Facebook Live, tell me if you love, do you even know what Yard House is?
I don't even know what that is.
Yard House is like, people love Cheesecake Factory, and everyone keeps saying bring Cheesecake Factory to St. George. I say bring Yard House.
It's a restaurant.
It's a restaurant. Unbelievable.
I've not even heard of it.
Unbelievable. And you're going to bring that mic up about 3 inches. There you go. Yard House is unbelievable. It's got a massive menu. And if you're a beer aficionado, good grief, they must have 200 beers on tap. It's wild. So I'm not, but I like Yard House. So I walked in and we needed to grab something to eat and sat down and it's like, 24 to zip, some game, right?
Yeah.
10 minutes later, well, never mind. I guess I thought about that wrong. And anyway, the crowd was going crazy and it was really fun. It was almost like being there, only not really being there at all. If that makes sense. So we're going to talk about, Michelle, this is going to be fun. We're going to talk about the most asked, but don't tell them yet, the most asked question by home buyers. You'd like to know, wouldn't you, Andy?
I would.
Wouldn't you like to?
I would really like to know. You're teasing.
Well, and Michelle has been, Michelle, how long football, Joe Newman says. Joe's always a good fan of our show. Michelle, how long have you been with us, with the Larkin Group?
8 years.
Has it really been 8? I want to say 7. I want to say Jesse had been almost 4 and he's been 5. 8
Yeah.
years.
been
So
a
that
while.
means you've been with me 8 Super Bowl cycles. 8 Super Bowls.
Telling time by Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I want everyone to tell me what their favorite game day snack is. Andy, what's your favorite game day snack? It doesn't even matter if you're into the game. Do you have a favorite game day food?
Yeah, it's the Velveeta queso, and you put it with the Rotel and the Velveeta.
Oh, yeah.
You dump the Rotel, a can of chili, and Velveeta together?
And that's it, exactly. Yep.
So easy.
Easy and delicious.
I can pull that crap off, just like
Absolutely.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Michelle, what about you?
7-layer dip.
7-layer dip.
So good.
Can you name all 7 layers?
Let's see. Beans, sour cream, cheese, guac, olives, grated
Okay.
cheese.
Okay.
I guess the chips. Is that the last thing?
I mean, you're gonna use the
Maybe.
chips as a tool.
As a tool. I don't know. It counts as the
It's a
7.
shovel. A shovel. So there you go. I'm torn. Yeah, 7-layer dip, queso. The issue with the game day food is that it's just there, and if somebody puts a really big spread out, I'm not even kind of hungry, but I'm just shoveling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just going for it. So what I like is a combination. I want to be able to eat a little bit of pizza. I definitely want to be able to hit the chips and salsa, chips and queso, 7-layer dip. I'm going to need some sweets. And then if somebody wanted to bring in, just like a big platter of sliders, I'm going to go for that too. right?
Delish.
And then with a healthy serving of veggies, really, they're there, but I wouldn't touch them very much. Okay, Andy, what's your prediction for the game? But realistically speaking, what is your prediction for the game? Because I know you're following this.
Yes. So it's funny because I have two good friends. One is a huge Niners fan. The other is a huge Chiefs fan. And so I'm kind of like I hesitate to make a prediction because I don't want to make either of them mad. But I think the Niners are going to win the game. I'd go about 28 to 20.
28-20.
Yeah.
Niners were my favorite team as a kid. There's no reason for it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even remember why.
Was
I
it
just
Steve
remember,
Young? I thought
and
maybe
it could have been
Steve
Steve Young. I just like them. I like Jerry. I like Jerry Rice. That was the guy I liked. But I was not a big football player. I went out for like Little League football, and I was in 7th grade. And this is really shameful. This is kind of embarrassing. This story. We played in the Dixie Sun Bowl, and I still remember I just didn't want to get hit.
Oh yeah.
And in 6th, 7th grade, a lot of my buddies were starting to become the kind of guys who wanted to be hit and wanted to hit.
Right.
And I didn't want to be hit. And so I was great for defense, right? Like playing free safety and running fast, but I did not want to be hit. And I lasted 1 season, and the coach, what was his name? But boy, he was a screamer.
Oh.
You know?
No.
Which is incredibly unmotivating. But anyway, that's all I did. I never played high school football, anything. But you were a powder puffer,
Were you
right?
fast?
Right, Michelle?
Well,
I don't know. I just pulled that out of there. Did you actually powder puff?
once in high school. Yeah,
Really?
we
Wow.
did. Yeah,
There you
but we had flags. Do you remember flag football?
Of course, I love
They
flag
had us
football.
they
It's a
let
little
us do
safer.
that. Yeah,
A little safer.
fun though. It was fun.
Well, if you're watching us Facebook Live, good morning. This is Jeremy Larkin, host of the St. George Real Estate Morning Drive. We're actually going to talk about real estate. And comment, what's your favorite Super Bowl game day food, snack? I actually put an image on Facebook before we started the show. Same thing. And what it is, look at this. It's a giant platter. It looks like a Super Bowl stadium.
Oh,
The stadium is made out of sandwich bread.
But
Inside,
it's 7-layer dip.
inside is a 7-layer dip. So one end zone is queso, and the other end zone is salsa, and then the in between the green field is guac.
With sour cream for the lines.
Sour cream for the lines, and then it's surrounded. The parking lots are like Cheetos and barbecue chips and. Fun.
That's cute.
Are we gluttons in this country?
That's cute. That's fun.
Gosh, man.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. Pizza. Yes, Joe, pizza. I love it. So Michelle has been with the Larkin Group now 8 years, 8 Super Bowls. This is Michelle Evans. She's been our lead buyer specialist, our team director of home buying, has been involved with, I'm going to guess, pushing 300 transactions with the team, 250
that's about right.
plus. It's a lot of transactions. You know, as a company, we're at 1,200. I'm going to tell you, okay, while we're talking. So we're at 1,250-ish transactions all time. So Michelle, you've had a lot of those. Check this out. 1,250 all time today.
Right on the nose?
1,250 families served, right? We
Wow.
hope.
That's cool.
So
That's
Michelle,
cool.
so
I didn't know that
250 of
exact
those
number.
for sure is you were involved in.
Yeah.
So tell the inquiring minds, and by the way, this is fun. The most recent Zillow review on the page, let's pretend she's not here. Michelle is awesome from day one. She was very knowledgeable of the St. George area and the other surrounding cities. We found her home in Little Valley, and once the process started, she was very informative and updated us with the process of closing. Even though she doesn't like the Super Bowl, my family and I would still highly recommend her. Okay, that wasn't in there. But I thought I'd wedge it in. All right?
But knowledgeable, informative, awesome.
And very funny, by the way.
Great.
She's actually
Great
pretty good.
folks.
She
They
can be
were fun to work with.
She can be super theatrical. I wish you could see. Really see. What is the most often currently asked questions from a
Drum roll.
home buyer? Drum roll. And by the way, I'm gonna tease it. Yeah, how much is the listing? That doesn't even qualify, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's so obvious.
Yeah.
You know, that's almost like, what time is it, or what's the date? Everyone asks what the price of the home is. What is the most asked question right now that we're really finding?
Is it a nightly rental?
Is this a nightly rental?
Really?
And,
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah. Can I rent it out every night?
Yep.
Can it be a vacation rental or
And
not?
the group most often asking that question are from what area?
Probably Salt Lake area.
Yep.
The north, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Up north, as they say.
Up north. And let me share something. And this is a very shameless plug. We don't mean to brag, but actually we do.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. So if you list your home with the Larkin Group, one of the things that we have moved into in the last 24 months is we market your home in the Washington County MLS, which is about 1,600, pushing 1,700 real estate agents.
Mhm.
We also list your home in the Iron County MLS, 700 agents. And wait, there's more. If you listen for the next 11 seconds, I'm going to tell you the rest. Also on the Wasatch Front MLS,
Yeah.
which last check I called the board, the Wasatch Front, which is utahrealestate.com. How many agents we got up there now? 15,000
Oh my gosh,
licensees.
wow.
So we get a call. Jesse is going to scream in from the background. Do we not get a call, at least 7 calls, 1 per day on our listings from Northern Utah?
Oh, absolutely.
Every-
The last 3 listings I've sold were Salt Lake agents.
Did you hear this? The last 3 listings he sold, Jesse's in the studio, Salt Lake agents. Like Andy, and I know you've sold a home recently, but can you see how compelling that is for a seller to know, hey, we're not just throwing it on the MLS. We got the entire Wasatch Front looking at your home now, right? 3 homes in a row Jesse sells, and they were Northern Utah buyers agents. Crazy.
It is crazy. And it's especially pertinent if you're selling a vacation rental.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
need to know that.
Yeah.
Because there's your big market up north.
Yeah. I mean, it's just really wild to me that this is the case. And Michelle's going to help us understand this morning how to avoid a couple of. I mean, there's a pitfall that we're running into, and with these, what do you want to call it? With the vacation rentals.
Yeah.
So people are calling. Their favorite question is, what is is it nightly, weekly zoned?
Right.
And our answer in most cases is, well, it's usually not.
Usually not.
Mhm.
Usually not. Yeah, they're asking, and what they don't realize is that you have to have that particular zoning to be able to do it. It's unlike a lot of areas that just allow VRBO and Airbnb, and you have to be in those zones
So
to be able to do it.
because you've done
Unless you're in Hurricane, that's a
yeah,
little
so I
different.
was going to ask you. So we've got people listening today. Where today can I most easily go and purchase a nightly, weekly rental, or buy a home and make it nightly, weekly rental? A couple areas. Where are they?
Oh, some of them. Well, there's the villages.
No, I don't mean it.
Oh,
I
you don't mean
an
subdivisions.
area. Sorry. Let's
Oh,
back up.
they're
What
in every
areas?
single area.
But what area is easiest? If I'm like, I just want to buy a nightly, weekly rental, and I don't want to have to go find a subdivision. What does this make sense? What I'm asking? You talked about Hurricane.
Oh, yeah,
Where
that's a
else?
little bit different. We've got them in Washington.
Mhm.
I mean, if they're coming down from north, they want easy access, that would make sense.
Yeah.
They're in St. George.
They're obviously in St. George.
and
Ivans.
Santa
Does Lavercan not
Clara.
have wide open zoning?
Lavercan
Almost wide
does. Yeah,
Okay, so
does.
Lavercan wide open zoning. But how wide open? Do you know? I don't know the
I think
exact.
it's every 500 feet.
Thank you.
And so you
I
have
didn't know
to
this.
apply to the city to get
Mhm.
that zoning, and so once you have that, I don't know that it can be grandfathered in if you sell it, I believe it can.
Mhm.
I'd have to double check that, but that's how they run it out in Hurricane, which is different than this area. So people need to know that if they're looking for a vacation rental.
Mhm.
You can't just turn it into a vacation rental because you want to.
Yeah, just because. Can you tell? I mean, you know the city's gone after people who try to cheat.
Yeah, we've had some listings that have done that, they're coming down pretty hard.
Yeah,
They don't want it. We've
they'll
had a-
actually, some of the cities, St. George specifically, will prosecute if someone continues to abuse it. It's almost
Yeah.
like 3 strikes.
Yeah, they'll give you a warning.
So, 129 right now active listings in Washington County are zoned as nightly, weekly rentals. The lowest priced listing is $59,000. I'd love to know what that is. We're going to look. Is that amazing? So 129 active listings, 28 are under contract, and this is going to take us to the next little conversation. 214 have closed in the last year. Now, 129 for sale, only 28 under contract. Michelle, what is the big challenge that a lot of our people who thought they were going to come to town and really make money on their vacation rental, what are they telling us after they buy them?
That they're not doing as well as they thought.
Yeah. Can you
Because
tell me more what
well,
that means? Tell our listeners what that means.
Well, we started off, remember we had Sports Village and Las Palmas, those were the only two that had that zoning. And then it started to, what would you say, in about 2009-ish?
Maybe.
Then it just started to catch on and we overbuilt. So now we have, I think last count, we counted Jessica on our team, she's another buyer agent, she and I were counting how many subdivisions. And I think we were at 26.
26.
So that's just the number of subdivisions, and then you think of all the units within there. I think we've just overbuilt and kind of shot ourselves in the foot with the vacation rentals. So, I mean, they still can be profitable. It's not like you don't have profitable vacation rentals, but I would say buyer beware. You know, and the caveat to that is that because you have that zoning, you could still do a full-time rental.
Correct.
So I don't want people to run screaming like it would be so terrifying.
So Andy rolls in here from Salt Lake and says, I'm going to do a nightly, weekly rental, buys one. He's like, my occupancy isn't great. He can turn around and just put a 12-month tenant in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Correct.
Yep.
So Joe commented, and it's a great comment. It's totally valid. For most people, nightly rentals are not a good idea. Even the best are averaging 50% occupancy. So let me qualify this. And that's an opinion, and I receive that opinion. And what I'm assuming he's meaning is if you think you're going to come in and make a lot of money. We had Pam Isham on the phone the other day. Pam's been in the studio with us. She's a great manager. They manage vacation rentals. She was on the phone with Jesse and Jeff and I the other day. And we were talking about a couple of so we've had multiple, at least in the last year, a dozen clients list their property with us saying, we thought we were going to make a ton of money at this. We're barely averaging 50% occupancy. This isn't turning out the way I wanted. We just want to sell it. And when we talked to Pam, who has there's no skin in the game for her. She just manages the rentals. She doesn't buy, she doesn't sell them. She said, we're absolutely in an oversupply situation. And she said, occupancy and rents have come down. We had Ryan come in the other day. One of our investor partners said, I bought one in Larkin 3 years ago. He's like, it was fantastic for a year. And then what happened in Larkin?
Yeah, all kinds of vacation rentals.
Everything in the world just started buying single family homes in vacation rental, right? Going VRBO. And I'm planning for a trip in Park City up in August, September, and I don't look at hotels. What do I look at?
Yeah, VRBO.
VRBO.com. That's all I look at. Great, Jessica commented in here. I like this. Remind people that if someone wants to have a second home and is subsidized with renters, it can make sense. So this is absolutely right. So at the end of the day, if you can come in with your eyes open and buy your nightly, weekly rental,
right,
and know that the following, look, it's not probably going to be full. Now, here's how you make anything full. You price it to be full, right?
Right.
So if the average nightly rent in your subdivision is $225, you probably want to be $175. You know, I mean, you want to be an obvious, logical choice. And here's what I've seen, Michelle, is I've seen two schools of thought with people who own these properties. I will occupy the night no matter what, because $80 is better than zero, you know? And then others are like, if I can't get my rate, I'm just gonna leave it empty. And I found that in renting them for about 15 years myself, right? And going and actually paying to rent the home. There's kind of two schools of thought.
Right.
You owned one. You've owned one.
That's right. And I think you have to really look at what your goals are. Because I think for people, I don't want people to think that we're saying don't buy a vacation rental, because I think it makes sense for some people. You've just got to sit down and take a look at your goals, take a look at your portfolio. I think having a vacation rental in your portfolio makes sense, particularly if you're coming down with your family to use it. Well, then that does make sense for you. If it's your first investment, I would say maybe no.
Yeah.
Right?
Man,
So-
same.
Yeah.
Because most people are looking as an investment, and by the way, the reason there's some really cheap vacation rentals is because they fall in Brian Head, right? So because that question has come up, well, where in the heck can you get one for X number? You know, it's like, well, you can get them in Brian Head. But
they're typically a little studio. It's
oh yeah,
not
yeah.
all of them, of course, but
Yep.
a lot of them are just the one bedroom ones.
Basically a hotel room.
Yeah. Well, and when I bought mine 3 years ago, it made a lot more sense because we didn't have as many vacation rentals. So but
Yeah.
I think you've got to look at occupancy, how often you're going to use it. Does it make sense or no?
So if you guys would like to know the most expensive, I know the home actually quite well. Vacation rental in Washington County is out in Adobe Hills, which is up, Hurricane Fields, like past Hurricane Fields, clear out to like Sky Ranch.
Oh.
1.945 million, 5,000 square foot home. I mean, so they exist at this price, right? 1.9, I know the owners of this one. Man, I wish they were listening because they can tune up some of these photos. Those aren't the best photos. Ouch. Anyway, we don't have the listing, so there you go. But it's a really cool home. I'd love to go play around in that home. So if you got 1.9 million, you could buy yourself a nightly weekly rental.
Ooh.
How much do you have to rent that out for to get close to making your payments though?
Well, who knows? I mean, I'd love to do the math and find out what they're renting it for. I'd love to know what they're renting that out for. Your typical vacation rental is what? As we wrap up, Michelle, what is the most typical, like just kind of in generic terms, what does a typical vacation rental look like? Beds, baths, square footage.
It's probably 3 or 4 beds and 3 or 4.5 baths, because that's the nice thing is to have those en suites so that
Correct.
each person staying has their connected bathroom to the bedroom. But we talk about all these different vacation rentals, but there are different types that really market a different niche of the market. Like that big
Yep.
one, 1.9, is obviously going to go for corporate retreats, family reunions,
Correct.
that kind of thing.
Wow,
So you
well
have to
said.
determine who you're marketing to and why. So that's all part of the discussion when you sit down with your real estate professional. What are we trying to accomplish?
Yep, yeah. So a couple things as we wrap up, and I like that point, is you have to understand who are you renting to, right? Here's what I'd say. We're oversupplied, and we're not going to we're not apologizing for telling people there's too many vacation rentals being built. It's not my monkeys, not my circus.
They need to know.
I
Yeah.
didn't do it, right? Somebody else did it. So we are in oversupply. Number 2, you can do really well and you can subsidize. Number 3, if you're a local investor wanting to buy vacation rentals, I think that's an odd play. Unless you had a situation where you already owned one, right? I think it's an odd play, as Michelle said, for your first investment, right? Because I don't know, typically a vacation rental is, let's get a place in St. George that we can go to 2 or 3 times a year, and then in the interim, instead of paying a mortgage payment of $2,000 a month for 12 months plus property taxes, we'll have somebody else pay for it, right?
Yeah.
And I've talked to lots of folks who, here's how they're doing. They're getting their mortgage and property taxes paid. That is brilliant.
Yes.
So they come down,
It's a good strategy.
Right.
It's a good strategy, but not everybody is open to it. I think that's another thing to consider. Are you okay with somebody being in your place? Because you've got a locked cabinet or a locked cupboard or closet that you keep your stuff, and then people are going to stay there when you're not there. For a lot of people, it's great. It's fine because it's
But it's
paying
kinda
down their
weird.
mortgage. But for some people, it's
Can
a
be
little
kinda
weird.
gross.
Yeah.
yeah, kind of gross.
Another thing to consider.
The last thing I'd say, Andy, what do we got? 1 minute. Last thing I'd say is we're seeing a lot of these actually sell for less this year than last year.
Yeah.
And this isn't like a rumor. Jesse knows, he's in the studio. We have people. I have a guy right now who paid $515 for a unit 3 years ago. I don't know that he's going to get $500 3 years later. And you'd think, oh, values went up. If you have a nightly, weekly rental, if you're wanting to get off the cliff and talk about whether keeping it is a good idea, call us, visit us at soldinstgeorge.com. We're not saying it's the right play to sell it, but we'd connect you to Pam, one of our great property managers, third party, right? And Michelle and our team can help you make a purchase if you would like. And that's that. Go Utes. I mean Cougars. I mean Niners.
Good night.
Yeah, I know. There you go.
You
I
can
try
make,
to
you can make a pick. You have 10 seconds to make a pick.
Niners.
Niners.
Niners. Hey, 30-17 Niners.
All right. We'll hold you to it.
I just pulled that out of the hat. All right, guys. Over and out.
Bye.